Hello, and welcome to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Crazy. Could you imagine if that was on I couldn't even dream of what Windows would do. It'd probably just fucking fold over and die.
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. It's amazing it even opened the file.
And I never saw a performance hit.
I mean, I would assume that it's some kind of cached, shitloads of compounded cache data from 2 years of projects.
And it wasn't until I had deleted it and I had given it like a bunch of thought, like, wow, why would you? Damn. Wow, really? And then when the space cleared up, I went, I wonder what would have happened if I'd have just like Control-Z'd and just to see where it would pull shit from that I thought was gone.
Wow.
Crazy. Anyway.
All right. 112?
112.
All right.
Sad Dads Club podcast.
Is that where we're starting? Are we starting already?
You can cut in there at some point, somewhere around the windows, taking a fucking rectal nosedive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff, though.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive.
Like I said, I'd never noticed any performance hit.
Huh.
And there it was. So,
Amazing.
hey, growing pains with software.
Yeah, well, live and learn, right?
Yeah.
You had no reason to think that was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, so I would think that would be a bug, a Final Cut bug for sure. The fact that
there's nothing there. Like,
it's hanging on to a bunch of cache data from previous things that don't exist anymore.
And there was it had like a, because I had figured I had deleted something out of order, like I had something in the Final Cut timeline, and it was still there, but I had deleted like the two videos, and then we make a compound, blah blah. I think I had deleted something inside the compound, and so and then I couldn't delete it from the actual imports and the contents, and so I just figured it was like a zombie process. So it allowed me to rename it, but I couldn't delete it. And because of the way I was building the projects, it's like, well, this is nothing to me, so I just renamed it Zombie, and then just went about my fucking building process every week until 10 terabytes of project file.
That's hilarious. That's impressive, actually.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm the Foo.
I'm Jim. We are Sad Dads Club podcast, episode 112.
Yes.
Yeah. And
the temperature has turned.
We went really fast from
it turned on a
mild
dime.
Summer to, hey man,
welcome to the
it's
fall.
Frost time outside.
Yeah, winter or freeze warnings.
Yeah.
The last couple days.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything frozen.
My smart I got a smart sprinkler system timer.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, there's a frost warning. I'm not going to run my regular routine tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, okay. So for 2 days I had...
Do you want me to kill your grass?
What?
It's going to frost.
Would you like to ice skate out front? Because I will water.
Set
Otherwise...
up the barricades. It's time for ice rink time.
Yeah, that sounds like a liability when people are
Yeah.
constantly walking their kids and dogs past my house.
Yeah, just start slicking up the sidewalks.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Doesn't make it to the gutter.
I don't know.
Not my problem.
Wear some cleats.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Fuck off.
Yeah. It's your fucking problem.
I don't know.
What do you mean? It's just water.
Fucking fake news.
Yeah.
It's probably part of the missing
And by
ballot.
the time they complain, it would be all melted. Be like,
Yeah.
What are you talking about, bro?
Like I saw you out here with a fucking blow dryer. You're thawing it.
And the cops would be like, "You got cameras, right?" And I'm like, And then all that footage would just be missing.
I don't know. It's static, dude. It's like that chick in the Ring video.
Yeah.
If I went to look at it, and all of a sudden I was licking my butthole. What?
Oh. Oh.
I didn't even think my spine could do that. My fucking
lessons learned.
Ring video, man. That shit's crazy.
So we can drop those charges, by the way.
Yeah. There's nothing here.
Especially since I
Look at my
own
neighbor. Look at
bundle.
him. He's fucking. Look at his neck's busted. He got it too.
It must be going around.
Yeah.
It's the next pandemic.
Yeah. See, it's
Snap
whatever.
neck.
It's her fault. She probably fell. That was her. Her on the video.
Jesus. That's gross. Well, we were talking about before the show was the Apple announcements this week, which were kind of cool. And I really need to get a new machine at my house, so I've been kind of waiting it out. And Apple, if no one knows, if people aren't paying attention, Apple's moving away from Intel-based machines, and they're running their own Apple Silicon now. So their own chipset, which is supposed to improve performance. But they've done some weird stuff, and the transition, the thing of it is, I've been a Mac user since the 90s. In a professional capacity, worked for companies that were all Mac-based and that kind of stuff. Every machine up until the last, I want to say 5 or so years now, every machine has been able to be upgraded. And what I mean by that is you can replace the hard drive.
Right.
You can replace the RAM. You can buy the lowest denominator machine and go get off-the-shelf RAM and put it in. That's just how it works. That's the PC way, right?
Right.
Well, I could see that being okay. Not allowing that to happen. Maybe in maybe laptops, I could see sort of, unless it's like the Pro model, like a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, right.
I would think that if you're a MacBook Pro user, you might want to be able to upgrade the internal storage.
Right.
You might want to put more RAM in that machine because you're saddled at the time of purchase with whatever those systems come with. So if you can't afford enough RAM at the time, you're hosed. You just get whatever that machine has, and you cannot upgrade it later on.
Right.
And that's starting to run across all of the lineup of systems, and especially on the new Apple M1 chips on the new Mac Mini, the new MacBook Air, and the new MacBook Pro 13-inch. They just announced this week that all have their Apple M1 Silicon chipset.
Right.
And so these are all systems where if you don't buy them with the specs that you think you're going to need in the future, then once the internal storage fills up, or if you start running out of RAM, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. Yes.
And their pricing is just insane. If you want to go from the base model, just for instance, on a Mac Mini, the base model Mac Mini comes with 8 gig of RAM, which is kind of paltry these days. But the upgrade is to 16 gig, and it's like $800 to get to 16 gig of RAM. It's crazy expensive. Yeah. It's really expensive. I think that's what it was.
So we're going to be hypercritical here and
speak
speak from non-engineering perspectives. But
that's true.
Between the both of us, we have both had, me from certainly way more of a PC background. We're building PCs and building my own PCs and being a tech at a PC store. Everything from my history in the industry is you put in parts as you need.
Right.
My own home rig PC, I think is, the motherboard's probably pressing 4 to 5 years old.
Yeah.
The same with the CPU. But I have pulled in and out a video card and memory somewhere in the last 5 years to kind of keep it up to date. The same with when I was working at a PC store. It was like people come in and you add, and maybe 6 months to a year down the road, if they needed something else that more,
yeah,
you bought an upgrade and someone put it in for you, or you bought a video card and you took it home.
The 60 megabyte drive's not big enough anymore.
Yeah.
I need a 100 megabyte
yeah,
drive.
right. Now,
sorry, hold on. I have to correct something because
okay.
I mistook. I misspoke. The RAM upgrade is $200 to go from 8 gig to 16 gig. I'm looking at it on Apple's website. It's the storage that's for a 2 terabyte SSD upgrade from the 256 it is $800. $800 for a 2 terabyte. You can buy an off-the-shelf 2 terabyte drive SSD for around $200. See what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't. And we've all, even with my recent purchases for things that I have gone into for my own like dabbling and tinkering.
Yeah.
It leaves a bad taste in your mouth because it kind of goes counterintuitive to what I know from the industry. Now, from an enterprise perspective, in what I do professionally, that's not there. Like the rip and tear and put new components in.
Yeah.
The servers that I have racked and stacked, it's you buy what you're buying right then. You're not really. Certainly the Sun systems, you weren't adding memory later on.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't do that. Now, I think probably from an enterprise perspective, it was easier I need to buy new hardware. And so they would just, if it was something they ran into was undersized 6 months to a year down the road, they were just budgeting for a whole new server instead of like min-maxing. Now, obviously, some of the Sun systems and some of the Fujitsu systems that were later rebranded as Sun had memory modules, and you could add CPUs and you could add memory.
Yeah.
But again, I think it was because the bank and the enterprise and the size, it was just like, oh, well, we'll give these to some other application department, and we're buying the new ones with the shit already on it. So the home user, me, and this business unit wants to go from 32 to 128 gigs of memory. Let's just put more memory in.
Yeah.
They just went, these servers don't have that. Let's buy a new server.
They don't fill our niche anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So to get into some of these things from a home perspective and the Apples, you buy what you buy and you need to forecast.
Yeah.
And then the double stinger is, and you better be ready to pay for it because they're fucking just putting the screws to you.
Yeah.
When if you were to buy this in a PC world relative, you could do it for half to maybe 75% or less the cost. It's like, that feels weird to me.
Yeah.
Especially when it's Intel-based stuff.
Yeah.
I can see the disparity when it was the early days when they were ARM-based, a completely different CPU architecture. That's why this leaves a bad taste in my mouth now that they're going to M1s. But at the same time, like, could you get the same performance that they claim?
Yeah.
Their fucking marketing widgets and slides all looked really fancy.
Yeah.
But there was no like what are you comparing this to?
Well, that's what I was saying.
Like there's nothing really.
I want to see reviews.
Right. There's no Windows laptop.
Yeah.
That's like that does this the way that they're architecturing this new system on a chip kind of thing.
Right.
So it's like, well, yeah, your metrics are your metrics. Is the pipeline as big for a couple of DDR whatever memory sticks versus your 8 gigs on the chip? Like, you might be close to apples and oranges at that point.
Well, one of the things about Apple, and one of the things they do is their software and their hardware are super tightly integrated.
Yes.
So one of the things that provides for them is performance. They get performance out of stuff that the specs maybe don't look all that great, right? So you're looking at like a MacBook Pro, and it's got this Intel chip in it, i9 or 7 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they tend to squeeze performance out of those setups because all that stuff is super coupled together the way that their Mac OS works along with their hardware. I get all that stuff, and I get that probably with the M1, it's probably even more so.
You're right.
And they even talked about that in the presentation about how Big Sur is really engineered to benefit itself with the M1 chipset, which that's fine. I mean, that's the way it should be.
Right.
It's a similar thing with the iPhone or iPad or whatever that are using the A12s, Bionics, or whatever it is. There's trickery behind the scenes to get the performance that they need. They don't necessarily have to have all the fastest shit. I mean, that stuff helps.
Right.
But they tend to get performance out of stuff where other maybe Windows or Android systems can't. Because of disparity in hardware.
Right.
And that's fine. And I'm a Mac user. I love the system. I wouldn't buy into it. I love the way my phone talks to my computer and all that shit.
Right.
All that stuff's awesome. I love all that, the tight integration between all of the devices and all that stuff.
But as a critical consumer, this still chaps the ass.
This is like the first time that I have been kind of miffed with Apple over like, oh, cool, I'm excited for this new hardware thing, and then I go look at it and start speccing it and go, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Mini I have, it came with one hard drive, spinner hard drive, and I think it came with 4 gig of RAM. It's an old machine. Needs to be replaced. I know this. But it works. I use it every single day. The thing is a workhorse. It just works. But I have put 2 SSDs inside it, right?
Right.
And I've upgraded it to 16 gig of RAM. So if I'm going to like buy a Mini now, I would have to spend way more money to get the extra amount of RAM, and then I can't even go further. The Mini I have now, I can get more RAM in it if I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't even get that much RAM in a new Mini. It just doesn't work.
To play the other side, so then I would say, how old is your current Mini?
Oh, it's old. I think it's like an 11.
So while it's fair to say, like, you feel like you would be locked into a hardware thing and not be able to tweak anything.
Well, think about that. That's
length
a 9-year-old computer.
Right. The length of time, it's important to, like, forecast and, and then in hindsight be bitter about being locked into something. But if you get almost a decade out of the one you have, could you imagine the longevity you're going to get something with
like a brand new machine,
out of something brand new. Now,
but that's
does it make it awkward that you can't?
Now you can't. You have to forecast,
right?
Before you could buy the bare bones machine and be like, later on I can upgrade the drive in it. Later on, I can just slap some more RAM in it.
Right.
And you're not paying the Apple premium RAM prices. You can go to Otherworld Computing, or you can go to Crucial or Kingston, or whoever's making memory and buy the compatible memory and put it in, and that's how it works. And I don't know, maybe the architecture of the M1 doesn't lend itself well to that kind of memory.
Yeah. Well, it's on the chip, right? So if you buy something... If you're upgrading, you're essentially getting an M1
with all the RAM on it.
The memory is on the chip.
Oh, okay.
So it's different.
I guess I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I get that.
It's all there, like the GPU
that doesn't mean
memory.
It's any better.
The cores,
throw some slots in there. Let me access some more. I mean, put a connector in there so you can throw an SSD.
Yeah, just add some extras.
Fuck. The way I look at it is it's cost cutting to a certain extent.
Yeah,
it's cost cutting and like, oh well, we in our number crunching, we have found that users buy the cheapest machine,
right,
and then later on buy blah blah and blah blah and upgrade it.
Yeah,
and we don't want to do that anymore. We want them to.
What was the lowest
one?
What was the entry Mini price? $799.
I think originally. When the Mini first came out, it was like $600, but they've kind of gone up and down in price over time.
Yeah, like
different machines have come out at different price points. But $599 or $6, I think it was $599 was the original Mini price. $699. I mean, you look at like, from a standpoint of how much you're getting for that $699, right?
Yeah,
it's not. I'm not complaining about that. what I want is the ability to be able to buy the machine and like be able to do something else with it.
You would like to be the true owner and configurator.
It's like if you bought a car and the manufacturer just says, "Oh, you didn't buy the big gas tank." And then, like, sorry, now you're just stuck with a 3-gallon tank.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't afford the extra $1,500 or $10,000 it was to get to the 15-gallon tank.
Right, and then there's that too, right? The premium pricing is, you're going to hope that, say you buy the full tilt boogie one, you're going to hope that you can, as a normal consumer, pay it off before you run into the I'm underpowered line.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, most of us aren't fucking made of money. Most of us aren't going to pay for it, outright.
Right.
So you're going to probably be in some sort of payment plan for whatever the thing is.
Right.
So, are you going to be paid off by the time you realize, man, I'm working on these things and now I need eight more gigs of memory because it's just like chugging or something. You're like, fuck, dude, I haven't even paid this off.
Yeah, I still owe 6 months on this thing.
Yeah.
And I got to buy another machine because this one's now underpowered.
Right. Yeah.
And I couldn't afford the expensive one then. It's like, it's kind of frustrating from a long time Mac user.
Yeah. I could see.
I just don't like seeing the way that's headed.
Especially when it wasn't.
Yeah.
Prior.
No.
It's like, and I get this, we were talking about this part too, like the system on a chip stuff. It's like, I get that. But why isn't the hard drive modular? Why can't, you can't, it's like slapping, you can't tell me.
Well, there's a couple things that I see
one.
there. There's a couple things I see there. The first thing I see is Apple is saving money by not putting a connector on it. That is user changeable.
Right, simplicity.
So there's
in
actually
the
more than two things. So there's that. There's the fact that now they don't have to design the case so that it can be opened.
Right.
Right. And then the other part of that is, I forgot.
Okay.
No. The other part of that is, well, there's the fact that they have to force you into buying all of those components from them, whereas you could go elsewhere before. So
right.
They're going to be collecting that. Think of all the companies that are
the trickle downs.
Yeah, they're going to lose out on. I mean, they push a lot of that like third party market away. I mean, I've been doing this since the old days when like Mac Mall catalogs used to, the catalogs you would get and flip through and look at all the hard drives and the CD-ROM drives and all the things, and they would have to bundle software with them to make them all work. That's all gone now. Like that entire catalog of like companies that made businesses out of that is entirely gone.
It does make me wonder, like at what point, like where was the business decision? Like what was the weighting? Was it liability with and quality with third-party vendors and whether or not it's the repair techs or the actual people putting the product manufacturers not being.
That was the other thing that I just.
Or was it that they didn't control the money with those third parties, and so they decided we don't want to be in that business. We just want to sell one and dones.
Yeah.
And we don't want to try and quality control the third parties. So, and we're not making that money. So fuck it. One and dones it is.
Yeah.
And by the way, check out the premium pricings.
Well, I think the other aspect that I said I forgot is performance, right? If everything is soldered onto the motherboard and it's all like bus connected and like there's no user slots that you can fuck up or places where you can have errors and that kind of stuff. And if it's all soldered on and gold, then in theory your machine will just perform really well. And I mean, I get all that stuff.
Right.
But the move away from the owner of the hardware to be able to like service it themselves or change some component.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand when you buy a Mini, you're not going to be able to do anything about the video graphics. Fine. All right, that's all built in. I mean, I get that. I don't care about that.
Right.
If I cared about that, I would buy a Mac Pro or a MacBook Pro or something like that where it mattered.
Yeah.
I don't need that on this machine. You know what I mean? but it's a desktop machine, and from the desktop machine standpoint, historically,
I would like
those are upgradable.
Right.
It's just frustrating. So that's my real beef I have with Apple right now is the whole transition into the non-user upgradable chassis is just bullshit.
Right. And then too, so that aside,
Yeah.
once we started looking at their price points, it seemed like they're the new products with the M1 chip, the new CPU architecture on it, the new silicone, the Mini and the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro with these chips all seemed, with the specs, they all seemed to like cross each other in price points, to where it was like if you fully spec'd out a Mini, you were in MacBook Pro territory. And if you got a MacBook Air that was like middle of the road, you were at bottom line MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
And if you wanted full tilt MacBook Pro, well then you overkilled everything else. But the same brain that was in the MacBook Pro is actually in these two other ones. So what?
Yeah.
Like, why would you overpay for when you could?
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, that was what you and I were talking about in our hangout when I was kind of complaining about this. Was you were like, well, why don't you just get MacBook Air or MacBook Pro? And I'm like, I don't care. I don't need portability.
Right.
I just need a desktop. I just need a replacement desktop machine. I don't need a screen. That's something extra you're paying for.
Right.
I don't need the form factor. I just need the little box to sit on the desk I can plug my shit into.
Right.
And that's the other.
But if your MacBook Air if your Mac Mini specs into something that has a screen, your screen is free.
But I already have a screen.
But your daughter is going to need something new, and she'll just take her Air.
I understand where you're saying that, but if your Mini specs into a portable,
right,
the portable is the low-end portable now. So you might spec it into a MacBook Air territory,
right?
But that's with upgraded RAM on the Mini, right? So now you are lower on spec on the Air because you still need the RAM. So you're going to have to upgrade that. Now you're in MacBook Pro territory. Well, might as well get that because of the. I mean, it doesn't end.
But as far as what they were presenting, the Popo,
they're after you.
The
Check
internals,
76.
The internals all relatively look the same. Like the same, you were powering them with the same core shit. It was probably just talking voltages and peripherals wired in.
So
then it was
connectors and stuff. Yeah.
So this one has a screen, but is it actually underperforming? They didn't actually. That's why I think we're missing as consumers. We're missing like, show me the actual hardware performance differences between the Mini, the Air, and the
you need
13,
benchmarks.
Yeah, I want to see these three because when you're running them all with the same internals, why would I bother? As a consumer, why would I bother?
Yeah.
It's like I can close the fucking lid of the Air.
Well, it's only a matter of time, right, before the machines will be out next week. The shipping apparently. So you can order them now, but they'll ship next week. So it's going to be next week before all of the Gizmodos of the world and
start getting
all the YouTuber
review
people,
copies.
They're going to start like hammering them with benchmarks, even if they can benchmark them, because all those tools are all Intel based.
Right. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be really interesting.
Oh, you want to benchmark?
Yeah.
Well, you have to license our benchmarking software from Apple. Hello.
Yeah, and it will give you all the wrong numbers.
Yeah. Yes, we have to handicap the Intels because they are gimped.
I mean, I'm not gonna complain. The machine I have is like I said, it's 9 years old. It's been around. I use it every day. I use it to do our show. You know what I mean?
This is 2016. The MacBook Pro that I'm using is a 2016.
Macs tend to live a long life.
Yeah,
they do. And that's one of the things I've always loved. They just work. And
it would probably die if I unplugged it from the charger, though, because I don't trust the battery.
Oh.
But
you can always replace those.
These ones are still replaceable?
I assume you can replace them in any MacBook Pro.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch this fucking case.
I don't know about you personally, but
Fuck
you could
you!
probably
I gotta fucking
take it into the Apple Store
skill saw.
Core or
I'll cut this
something.
shit open in a Dremel.
and it'll look really good when you put it back together.
Yeah, yeah. Fucking Argonaut's got a welder now. We'll just take this shit back together and we'll be good to go.
Nice. But, gosh. I mean, but like I said, I've never had any problems with performance. I use Macs in a professional environment. I use Macs at home. It's just they're the machines I like. If you use other stuff, I don't care. Don't send emails like bagging on me because I'm a Mac user. It's just that's what I like.
Angie is already.
I know she is.
Angie's like probably She's like, fuck you, Macs, and fuck your Macs and Apples.
Oh man, I mean, I've used
#LoveYouDragon.
literally every Mac all the way back to like in a professional capacity back to like 1995. I mean, long time.
Yeah,
long time. So, it's just the like I said, the move is frustrating as a consumer.
yeah. I got a frustrating thing.
Okay,
Are you ready?
we can move on.
Yeah. So, yesterday, November 10th, was the Xbox Series X release.
Yeah.
Now, if you caught anything about pre-ordering stuff and you're in the tech world, you saw probably about 30 days back, NVIDIA came out with a couple new video cards that went out for sale. And they all the pre-orders essentially got bought purchased and scripted from most of the pre-orders were botted or scripted out.
Okay.
So then
not bought like money bought.
So you had humans trying to
buy them
pre-order.
Yeah.
To
but
get
then
them.
the bots took over.
The bots took
them
over
all.
and bought most of them from Newegg, Amazon. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway.
See, that's a problem.
Can't stand it. Piss me the fuck off. And then you saw a bunch of stuff like.
So you wrote your own script?
Yeah, right? I should. Yeah.
Your Xbox harvesting script?
Right. I'd probably have to run it on a Mac, though.
Oh, shit.
So there was a bunch of pissed off consumers because it was like.
We can't get them.
We can't get them. And then you saw probably roughly 12 hours later, you saw these like guaranteed pre-order receipts of showing up on eBay. So the bots had procured their pre-orders and then were selling the pre-orders for marked up shit on eBay. Absolutely just pissed the consumers off.
That would torch me. No, like seriously, that would torch me.
So then the new PlayStation 5 came out, the same deal. People tried to pre-order. Multiple online vendors all took a shit. Not necessarily Sony's fault. It was just that most of the vendors trying to sell the PlayStation, you couldn't get it or sites crashed. Terrible consumer experience.
Right.
People bitched on the internet.
Which is different from the way it used to be, right? Because it used to just be like, they're shipping to the stores and they're coming out on the 5th and go get in line.
You might get the fucking hobos, the tech hobos that would camp outside a Best Buy or a Target. But generally, if you were in line, you were probably going to get one.
Not now.
So, I think it was maybe within a week, Xbox had their turn to go at it.
So basically, what you're saying is that Microsoft let
Sony and the NVIDIA's
all those guys like try and sell their stuff, right? And then once that shit show took place, then Microsoft was like, "We're selling them now.
Watch this. We're selling our Xbox
Hold
Series
my
S."
beer.
Yeah, right. And so they even like had a couple troll things like, watch us, like we got this, we got it.
Yeah,
watch this.
Okay.
It didn't fucking matter. Fucking Microsoft doesn't control Newegg and Amazon and fucking Best Buy and any other online vendor trying to sell the Xbox. Crashed to shit. Xbox had the same, not quite as bad as PlayStation and the 3080 video cards.
Yeah.
With the bots, but keeping the vendor sites online is a problem. Is a problem, straight up.
Yeah.
So didn't matter because I wanted one. I actually got one from Amazon. Got my pre-order in. I was probably within 2 to 3 minutes of Amazon going live with their their sale of it got my pre-order. And I was like, fuck it, bitch, I'm out.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I'm in. Good to go.
And then?
Oh,
no.
So the clock has been ticking down for me.
Yeah, okay.
Because November 10th was the release date.
Okay.
So shit should be
So you're saying that
in the
hardware is, in theory, in the channel.
Right.
So if the hardware is in the channel, then in theory, Amazon, if they are doing it properly, would have them in stock, and when you purchase it, a label would get put on and it would get sent to you.
That is my hope as a consumer.
Okay.
All
right. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. If that's where we're talking about the same thing.
There's a couple. Yes.
Okay.
So as we get closer to release date, and things that I've purchased, like video games or whatnot that have like collector's edition things or something, where it gets close to like the Tuesday release date, you're waiting for the Prime second day air, like it's coming, your pre-order's confirmed, here's your shipping tracking number. As we got into the weekend, it was like kind of hoping I'm going to see, because at this point I've got nothing but we've accepted your pre-order, you're good to go.
So that you ordered what day?
Whatever day
that was last week?
No. They went live with their pre-orders like probably a month and change ago.
Okay, so
September.
you ordered it then?
I ordered it the day it went live, within 2 minutes of Amazon's.
And you still don't have it?
And I still don't have it. So,
fuck.
So I've been waiting all weekend because I took time off, right? Because take your time off or you're going to use it or lose it kind of thing. And I was like, Destiny has their new expansion thing that came out on the 10th. And it was like going to be like an Xbox and Destiny. I'm like, fuck it, yeah, the election, and I'm going to take my time. So I'm thinking, I've got my Xbox, I've got new Destiny, I'm going to shoot aliens in the face at a really high FPS, and it'll be awesome. And Saturday comes by, Sunday goes by, and I'm like, I'm getting a little concerned that my pre-order is right.
Yeah.
Now, it's happened in the past where, the Monday, the day before something comes, and like we're just drop shipping it to avoid spoilers or, they're obscuring inventory so thievery doesn't happen in warehouses. That's happened before. So I was concerned but not worried. Monday comes, and it's like, okay, this is DDay for me. Yeah. I get a mail confirming that the extra storage card, SSD storage card expansion that goes into the new Series X was pushed out till Thursday. And I went, fuck. Okay, so now I'm waiting.
So even if you get the box.
Right. The extra memory, it's extra. It wasn't. It's not required for operation, but it was like, I'm planning ahead, so I bought an extra terabyte of storage.
So do you need it, though, to get yourself up and running?
No.
Oh, okay. You can add it later.
It was like... It was just add-on.
Okay.
But that being pushed out till Thursday, I was like, fuck, okay. Well, so where's...
Well, it doesn't matter because I don't have the Xbox.
Right. Now I'm waiting for the mail saying whether or not the Xbox gets pushed to Thursday, too. And nothing comes. It gets into the afternoon, and I get a, fuck you, sorry so much, please accept our condolences on... Your Xbox may show up at some point before December 31st.
What?
And I went, well, what the fuck is this? What?
God damn.
It's Thursday, or it's Monday.
Yeah.
Now I have no options.
Between now and the end of the year?
Yeah, some point. When we get new inventory, we'll be sure to Would you like to cancel your order? Please click the link.
It just seems like...
fuck, dude.
It seems like if you ordered that fast... you would have been at the top of the damn list.
I would think so, too. That would be my perspective.
God damn.
But it's not. So now Monday I was pissed. I was pissed because it's like, you waited till the time in which it afforded me zero opportunities to look elsewhere. And then what ended up happening towards the early evening of Monday night, GameStop all of a sudden showed up with like, hey, we've got extra inventory. If you're interested, we can have things drop shipped to, we'll have them in store. And it's like, well, by the time I saw that, it was too late.
Yeah.
And when I checked the link, they were like, we're already sold out.
Yeah.
Newegg did the same thing, except Newegg had a fuck you. They had an extra fuck you, and it was like, you can buy an Xbox and we'll ship it, but you have to buy something else in the store. Buy memory, buy a fucking CPU fan, but you have to buy something else in order to get their promotion, to buy an Xbox. Well, bitches, fuck it. All of a sudden everyone has inventory, but my pre-order from the day it went live
is nowhere
to be found.
Yeah.
Like Amazon can't find any more fucking Xboxes, but all of a sudden GameStop and Newegg have them. And all of those things came in before I could take action.
I swear I just saw some at Walmart today.
They're probably fucking there. Dude, so pissed.
I didn't actually. I'm just fucking with you.
Not really, no.
That's frustrating.
Yeah. I'm like, and it reminds me of like the thing that you see with airlines. Like, I get it. Airlines will overbook and you get there and maybe the plane is full and they'll offer fucking vouchers to someone who's like,
Yeah.
But usually you're afforded an opportunity to take a voucher or be like, this isn't really that important to me. I don't mind being booted or kicked or whatever from the flight.
Yeah.
They gave me no inclination that my order was going to be boned.
Yeah.
If you're worried that you don't have inventory, like, how did you not know this 7 days ago or 2 weeks ago?
The way I look at it is, they know what they're going to get. They know what they've ordered. They know the number of units they are going to have.
Yes.
I mean, that number might flex as time goes on, as other stuff becomes available, but they know what they have to sell right then.
On that day, the day their sales went live, they knew how many units they had to sell.
Yeah.
And they oversold.
Yeah.
And I was within minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, in the 2 minutes, I get it that it could be possible with technology, but fuck, that seems really hard to believe.
Yeah.
And I'm just so soured by the pre-order experience.
Yeah.
It's like, and this is not just me, and it's just not the Xbox. Like, this happened with the PlayStations. It happened with the NVIDIA video cards. You could go back to the previous generation of Xboxes or fucking Furbies, things that sell out, and you have a pre-order. I get that you shouldn't be confident that a pre-order means you get it, but when you go the length of time that I went with a pre-order without
so much as a whisper.
Right.
Yeah.
If they'd have told me 2 weeks ago, we oversold, if you would like to move your order out or cancel it so that you can start looking for an alternative sale with another vendor and to try and get that by November 10th, I'd have been like, well, I'm a little pissed, but at least you gave me 2 weeks to try and like find someone. Venus was talking about someone posting in one of her Facebook groups or something like, hey, if anyone has one of these new Xboxes, I could have started pimping out for over the hand jobs or something for a Series X.
You could have sold it on eBay for thrice
I got
the
nothing.
price.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Just something needs to be done. Fuck. So pissed.
Yeah, there's no way to know. There's no way to know what's happening behind the scenes. It's a
stole
void.
my happiness a little bit until I started playing and I was shooting. And the expansion's really good.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun.
So did you get it?
What?
You still haven't gotten it? The Xbox, right?
No,
Oh, okay.
I still do not. But
so you're playing on the old one.
I'm playing on the old hotness.
Playing on the old one.
Sadness.
Sad dad.
I get just
Yeah.
so frustrating.
I get it, man. I tend to stay away from pre-ordering anything, really. Chandler gets excited about pre-ordering phones. When the iPhone comes out, he's always like, actually, he didn't do that this year, but he is typically pre-ordering his phone, and Apple does a pretty good job of getting the stuff to you when they say they will.
Yeah.
As far as iPhones and stuff, I don't know how they do that, but
I would hope it's like, we don't have it. Out of stock.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to allow you to buy something that's like not shipping because they don't have it. It's like, well, check back in 30 days when we have more stock.
I mean, I don't know if...
Would you like to be notified?
Does
Blah,
Apple
blah, blah,
have
blah,
a big warehouse full of iPhones in China or somewhere here in the U.S. where they just start shipping stuff out? Or are they making stuff on the fly? You know what I mean?
Oh, I think it's probably a prefabbed inventory
Pre-built.
sitting somewhere in Cupertino under Tim Apple's anus.
He's
underneath
got
the
one
spaceship.
cheek,
Yeah.
one cheek on his iPhone.
These are all reserved.
One cheek on a big fat stack of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Good one, Tim. Apple.
I would.
So that way he can wipe his keister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Benji is on my anus.
Oh, those $100 bills feel good. On
They're
my
cold.
hands. And they're usually crispy.
That's not,
No one uses them.
that wouldn't be good. Crispy dollar bills. That would chafe.
Well, you might cut yourself.
Yeah.
You might have a new gap.
No bueno. Wha-
That's frustrating. I'm sorry to hear that.
So we're in like Christmas weather now.
Yeah, it's cold.
I saw something in the mail after
Was
all,
it your
all the
ballot?
election stuff. Yeah. was it an absentee ballot?
Did it get returned to sender?
Yeah. What the hell?
And it was all marked up with Sharpies?
It was, yeah.
Sorry.
All the bubbles were unfilled. They're bled through the other side. It was I don't know how your Christmases went as a kid, but usually when Christmas came around, it was like the JCPenney catalog,
Uh-huh.
and we would like circle the things that interested us,
Yeah.
and then we would make a Christmas list, and then usually, or the Christmas list was built off of the JCPenney's Christmas catalog.
Well, I would like circle shit in there as if my parents were somehow going to flip through the catalog.
Well, that's what usually what we would end up doing.
Okay. I mean, I would, but they wouldn't.
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
flipping through. They're going.
We would flip through it and make a list,
Uh-huh.
and slowly over time, as like we started to get a little bit older,
Uh-huh.
and we started to get, it was less about Santa. It was really probably the Santa line.
Yeah.
It was, I'm not going to fucking make you a Christmas list. We would just circle shit in the catalog and then
Okay.
like chuck the catalog back to mom and dad, and then they would build whatever they were going to get us if we got stuff from the thing.
Okay.
So that's my heritage of like where we got ideas. Now,
Heritage.
how the Christmas list was formulated off the JCPenney's Christmas catalog.
Okay.
And it was a thing too. God, those things were
They
thick.
were huge.
You could brain somebody with that.
They were
thing. If
like
you
a
really
phone
got it.
book of products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking, it was awesome.
They were.
It brought back memories
and
when I saw
glossy
this.
pages, no less.
So I'm going through the mail, bring it in the house. I'm flipping through. I'm checking the old proposition stuff, and it's an Amazon catalog.
What?
And I hadn't. It didn't really look Christmassy.
Was it on a screen?
Right. It was a paper. It was tactile.
What is happening right now?
It was a holiday Amazon catalog, and I went, "What the fuck is it?" It was like the
Why
size
didn't I
of
get one?
like a little booklet,
Yeah.
like a notepad size.
Okay.
So I'm flipping through it, and it is a Christmas toy catalog
Oh yeah.
from Amazon, and I'm flipping through it, and it's toys, Legos, fucking all kinds of toys, knickknacks, and whatnot.
Patty wax.
Give a dog a bone. And what stuck out for me was that every toy on the page had like an Amazon link, like if you wanted to look
so
it
you
up.
would have to type it all
Right.
in.
Or it had a QR code
Oh shit.
that you could fucking scan, and it would scan and add it to a list. And I went, wow.
They are not missing any
They are not
opportunity.
fucking around. I'm like, this is
They're like, hey, by the way, Toys R Us is gone.
this is lit right here. This is nuts.
Toys R Us is gone.
Yeah. By the
There
way,
you go.
like your kid can just compile a list of QR codes and just like picture,
Send it right to a list.
and just and would you like to share this with a friend? Fucking just send it to your parents. I was upset and yet amazed all in the same thing. I'm like, this is where we are. Like, there's no more circling it. You just send your mom and dad links or a QR code. It's like,
what I think is
fucking-
funny is we just went full circle. We went to all digital shopping to them sending a catalog for you to flip through.
I'm like, wow. Then now this
that
is like
old school, man.
Yeah. I'm like, wow. So now it's QR codes. I was totally amazed. I'm like, this is fucking trick. Because I'm like, wow, this, okay.
How thick was it? How many pages would you say it was?
I don't know.
I'll have to look at my
it was a good 5 millimeters thick of stuff, but it was short. It wasn't a lot of stuff in it, but I was like, this is, see, hey, son, flip through the Amazon.
It's kind of like the kids need that.
Right. Because if you were to go to Amazon does like a kid, build your Christmas list and toys and stocking stuffers for choose your age bracket.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen a tactile thing in years. 10 plus years. Now you're going to get stuff from like Old Navy and the Bed Bath and Beyond.
Right.
We'll send you like a little bit thicker than their coupon one sheet.
Yeah.
But this was all toys with QR codes and links to you want to just buy this right now? Fucking
was it sent to the kids of the house?
Fuck, I don't know.
That would have been awesome, right?
Right.
Not to the parents of or to the to the person who owned the account.
Yeah.
To the kids and then your address.
To juveniles at 80 blah blah blah.
Yeah. Don't let your parents see this.
Right.
It'll just show up on their account when you use your phone to.
Yeah. And Venus, when she was probably over the weekend some point, she's like, what do we do for the kids? Like, what are we going to do for Christmas? I'm like, I was just coming off of the
heroin.
Sleep deprivation of the election heroin induction. And I thought, you know what? I think the kids are old enough this year. I think what I'm going to pose to them something different. Because we've discussed this shows in the past, so we would get closer to Christmas. Like I want to give extra, and I think I've seen as they get older, like the gifts and the spectrum in which they actually want stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to miss and over purchase. And especially in this year, in the space and time that we're in, all of the social issues that we're going through, I said, I think this year we need to pose the, not what do you want for Christmas, but what do you need? Like, what is something that you're interested in, and what do you need to get you that?
Right.
Pencils or coloring or tablets or more books. You're missing an instrument thing for music. They already have nice computers, so that's off the list. Do you want to do content creation? Do you need caption? I think that's how I'm going to pose it to them this year, because I think with everything that's going on, it's like it doesn't make sense to first world my kids anymore. Like, what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we just need to put that over the want.
Dad, I need a vlogging camera and a Rode mic.
Yeah, well, you can use that when we're not using them on Wednesday. So,
but I have to be able to vlog with it. Okay, so when I'm facing the camera at myself, I have to be able to see my face.
an Osmo with the gimbal.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We'll see. Show me first, and then we'll talk about it.
You're going to put your whole life on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be.
Here we go.
You got this hour of the week is already covered by the show.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be vlogged for the rest of by your kids.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Or maybe they just get me shit for Christmas.
Wait, they don't have jobs, so do you give them the money to buy you stuff? You'd be like, by the way, I need an Xbox, and then here's the money for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do that? Is that what you're going to do?
No. Probably not.
No. Go get a job.
This is why.
And then get me some shit.
I give out feelers all year.
Yeah.
It's totally easy to shop for me.
Oh, come on. This is not what I'm hearing.
She's lying.
Oh, God.
Hashtag she's a liar.
I'm not sticking up for her, but I'm just saying this is not what I'm hearing.
Anyway, I totally forgot. So the memory card for the Xbox ended up coming.
Oh, you got that at least.
So I've got a terabyte of storage for an Xbox that's not fucking here right now. A little bit chapped.
Is that the biggest one you could? I mean, did you have to forecast what you were going to need for it?
Yeah.
I mean, at least fucking Xbox. At least Microsoft is letting you upgrade the storage in an Xbox.
It's expandable.
It's a goddamn gaming console. These are computers.
Modular. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway.
I'm regressing.
So, yeah. And then, so now that I'm on PTO, Venus is like, well, we should go get Christmas lights.
Yeah.
So I think we're probably going to Walmart or something to spec out
get them now while they have them.
Right. A full Christmas light, brand, everything soup to nuts, not modular, so that I end up with like slightly off-white icicles and the bright white icicles.
Right.
Total janky bullshit.
Yeah.
She's like, this year.
The LEDs are hard to match, so you got to be careful.
We need to try and we got the distances all laid out, so we should, right. But it's like, well, fucking... Why is it on my PTO? I'm fucking going it now. I'm the one that's hanging all this shit.
Mm-hmm. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. Are your snowmen out?
Did we talk? No. Did we? Not yet. It's not. It's not Thanksgiving yet, bro.
Oh, is that Thanksgiving when that happens?
Yes.
Day of?
But did we talk about the year that I tried to go LED? Did we talk about that? Okay. Yeah, that was a lesson.
It's just no bueno.
Yeah, they just aren't. The C9s are where it's at, man.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I can't.
It's painful when they come on and I go, God damn, that looks awesome. And then I go, fuck, that is hundreds of little fucking heaters on my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to complain about how much power we use all summer, but in the winter, I'm going to throw goddamn lights on my house for a month and then be like, I guess.
'Tis the season, bitches.
Yeah, it's Christmas time.
Holiday, motherfucker.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It keeps the icicles off the house, so.
Yeah. It's just, ebb and flow between these fucking... We're either all...
See, that's why we need to go solar right there. Just to offset my cost.
Yeah.
And I can run those Christmas lights 24/7. Not make a difference.
So it's an eye pleasure for you, though, with the C9s and incandescents and not LEDs, right? And
it's just that there's so much...
You live inside your house, right?
Yeah, but when I pull up and that kind of... It just
Dude,
looks
you work
sharp.
from home now.
I do leave sometimes. I'm not...
Just get LEDs.
I'm not just in my house all the time.
I am. It's okay.
I see what it's doing to you, and it worries me.
I am hurting
look
inside.
Look at the look in your eye. That Xbox needs to get here quick.
I'm a little pissed. Fucking Xbox.
We sent my daughter home on a flight yesterday. So she...
Oh, she went home?
Yeah.
Oh.
For 10 days, she'll be... So here's what's happening. We didn't talk about this, but she lives in an apartment in Fullerton.
Okay.
She has 3 roommates. 2 of them are twins that live in one room, and then her and her roommate they share a room. There was a scare at their house while she was home.
Uh-oh.
Where a couple of the girls got sick. And with the whole COVID thing, she was just like, I'm not going back.
Oh, okay.
So she delayed going back up until yesterday. And
did they have?
I don't believe so. I don't know. I haven't heard, but it was a long enough waiting period for her that she was comfortable going back.
Okay.
So she went back and she's home. She's back at her apartment now, but she's coming home again in like 10 days. So she's...
Is it winter break or just...
for winter break.
Okay.
Yes, for winter break.
Okay.
Yeah. So she'll be back, and then she's driving home. So Chandler is going to fly down, and then...
Co-pilot,
she's going to drive back with. She was a little nervous about driving herself, which that's fine. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were hanging out yesterday before she was getting ready to leave, I said, have you given any thought about how you're going to get home? I mean, you're going to drive home with Chandler. Dad, I'm just taking it one day at a time. It's like, okay. I guess we'll find out if someone has to drive with her and fly home. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Piper had her second driver's training test with like a in-person, whatever her little school thing is. They were driving, I don't know where they were at, but the guy told her, okay, now take this exit and get onto the freeway. And she said, oh, okay.
What?
Huh?
She didn't like that.
It just caught her off guard because I don't think she was ready. Plus, the daylight savings has kicked in, so it started to get dark.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they cover what they're doing the day that they do it, but she's like,
I think they just jump into it.
Yeah, and then we got on the freeway, and he was like, you gotta give it the business because this is a Prius.
Oh shit!
They ended up in traffic. He said,
feed the hamsters real fast.
Yeah, he's like, we didn't really have any problems with merging and whatnot, but I told her she was gonna have to
hammer down,
give it the business because it's a Prius. And I think Venus had made a comment like when he had told her, like debriefed her on how she did and where they went. She's like, yeah, well, she's used to, the Explorer that we have has a turbo, so she can't stomp on it because it'll give you the business.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah.
Different car.
Yeah. He's like, well, not the case in the Prius. You got to give it some mustard in order to get it up to freeway speed.
Instead of a turbo, the Prius just makes fart sounds.
Yeah, just kind of like,
I'm trying.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Soon.
Just wait. Oh, you wanted to get there?
Turn your blinker on.
Just wait.
It's gonna be a bit. You want a hot pocket?
what?
Ding.
Bing.
Hot pocket.
Hot pocket.
Oh, man. I tried to get my real ID last week.
Yeah. Did you end up getting it?
No, that was a lesson in frustration.
Yeah.
Very irritating because...
Okay, wait. So before we get into that,
yeah.
What were you getting it for? Was it so you could fly?
Flying. Yeah,
okay.
it's for flying.
Okay.
I've had passports, but they're both I have obviously had a couple different passports, but they're expired. Haven't needed them.
Okay.
So I haven't gotten any new passports. So it's like, if I get my real ID, then I'm set with flying, at least domestically.
Right.
So that's fine. And so I go on their website and I go through their fucking tree of, who are you? And, have you ever had a name change? Yes, I was adopted as a baby, kind of half adopted. So I had a name change. Nowhere on there do they ever tell me that I needed any other kind of information. Okay, so I get all the things that it says I need. I grab my birth certificate. I have my Social Security card. I have both of them. I have the same number with my original Social Security, with my original name, and then my changed name on my Social Security.
Right.
And I have like the mortgage bill, and then I have like my pink slip for my car. Right.
Okay.
So like, here's all the shit. I mean, I got everything you say that I need.
I am me, 100%.
Yeah. And so I'm like handing her this. First of all, I just like look at it. Oh, it's not very busy. I'm going to run down there and do this thing.
Right.
And I get there and they're like, did you fill out the application online? I'm like, fuck, why? No. Why would I need, Oh, well, go use the computer over in the corner. I go
we
over
promised
there,
no one with COVID was using it.
They're all being used. I'm like, I'm just going to do this on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Go through the whole process on my phone. Then I have to return. They check me in. Have a seat. Here's your number. I wait like 20 minutes. Okay, go to the thing.
Okay.
Start giving the chick my information. Here's my birth certificate. Here's this. Here's that. But she's like, but your birth certificate said, I'm like, yeah, I had a name change as a baby. Here's my Social Security card, and here's the original Social Security card with my old name and my new name. And she's like, well, I can't take this. I can't validate that's who you are because I need the court papers that show your name change, legal name. It's like, I don't even know where the fuck that was. Was that in L.A. County? Was that in Orange County? I don't fucking know. I said I've had 2 fucking passports. No one's ever asked for this shit.
Okay.
I was pissed.
Right.
Like, you just fucking wasted my time. Your website wasted my time. You're wasting my time.
Right.
So that's where I'm at. I'm just pissed. So I'm going to go back and look at their bullshit and try and determine if there's something else. Like, instead of bringing my birth certificate, if I can just bring something else that doesn't have the old name on it, so that never gets brought up.
Part of that frustration for me is, and we won't have to rehash it, is that the Real ID thing is supposed to be like a way to authenticate your domestic
Your
citizenship,
federal,
like security thing.
Yeah.
It's a security theater thing.
Yeah.
And I get that, and that's fine. I think where they went wrong with that is that they allowed what seems to be each state to define and standardize within themselves if they actually do any standardization at all. And then what happened is that they federally and statewide, they kind of moved the goalposts as to what was needed to make it legitimate. And that is problems upon problems. I think California's alone has the early ones probably won't be valid once they actually finalize, the ones that are supposed to be the go forward. When passports, a U.S. passport qualifies. It seems if someone would have said, in order to fly within the United States, you need to just get a passport. Just get a U.S. passport. And if you travel abroad, your U.S. passport.
You're covered.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to have a U.S. passport. Please start getting a U.S. passport, and your state, local DMV or government officials will start procuring you all of the things you need to get a U.S. passport.
Right.
They fucked everyone.
But I think
when they started have something smaller than a U.S. passport just for domestic shit. Stop.
Well, I think
one and done.
I think what it is the federal government's like, we don't want to deal with that influx of 260 million people. You know what I mean?
I get it, but look where we're at. You're going to end up with all of these security disparities between state to state.
Yeah.
And within our own state, right?
Yeah.
You have a problem.
Yeah.
And you have nothing right now. You're at attempt number 2 and maybe even 3 by the time you get there, when if someone smart would have just said, we need to make this easy, not only on the facilitators, but on the user base, U.S. passports.
Yeah.
How do we streamline this for the citizens? Well, let's come up with a new program that each state can control it. Oh, my fucking God.
I mean,
no.
I mean, I understand. It's,
squirt bottle.
You need something for domestic necessarily. I mean, typically a passport is international.
Right.
Thing,
but if it's good,
it's good to go. It definitely is.
Right.
And it works. You can use one now for domestic stuff, no problem.
Right.
But most people don't fly outside the country, so they don't need to go that route.
I think that's part of the misconception. If they just said, if they just posed it as a security thing and not as a as part of your, to be a U.S. citizen and to fly here, get your U.S. passport. If they just made passport ubiquitous with travel, something, just called it travel or U.S. traveling or something, instead of the mind fuck that you think passport means I'm going to Canada or Taiwan. If they just said, this is your travel port or something.
What's confusing about it is passport is a federal, international traveling tool, really. Where your driver's license, when you're within the continental U.S. or within the U.S. in general, your driver's license would get you anywhere into the,
Right.
I mean, and so what is happening is you have the same agencies doing the same work in a passport capacity and in recommending that all the states adhere to this thing that will do a real ID also.
Right.
So it's kind of weird to that extent. I mean,
and I don't even think they have to be.
I assume it's because they're all putting everybody into a database that's national.
You would think.
I would
but
hope.
We don't.
I would
Who
hope.
the fuck knows?
Yeah, I don't
Probably
know.
not.
But it's frustrating. I was definitely
Yeah.
frustrated by the experience. So, like, and I, talking to Angie about it afterwards, she was like, "Well, don't even take your
Right. You may get a grease the wheels.
yeah."
I
was pissed. I was like, "This fucking happened when I was 2. I didn't have any say in it.
Just come in.
God damn it,
Just come in high, with cookies." You're like,
man! I was like,
Hey,
I got
man.
fired up. Like, you just fucking wasted part of my day with this, and your website didn't tell me that I needed to do anything different.
yeah.
If I knew it was going to come down like that, I would have tried to approach it from a different way.
That's why it was. It was funny when, when Venus was pre-working up all of the stuff for me to go get my U.S. passport, because I don't think I had one. I had mine. I didn't have one on me anymore. I don't think, and I think the only time we went abroad was Cancun, and I honestly couldn't tell you whether or not I actually had how that worked, because I don't know where my old passport was.
Yeah.
So, when I think, government paperwork and garbage, I expected exactly the experience that you had and are having with your real ID. And
For the passport.
Venus had, Venus had paperwork dialed up. And so then it was like you make an appointment, or we went down to somewhere with space, and it was no big deal.
Yeah.
It was like bang, 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 done.
Yeah.
And, we paid to expedite and then to get the little card that you could take for traveling, and it was like, well, that wasn't really so bad.
No.
And I think we did it at a DMV as well. So it was like, but the amount of pushback and rancor that I've heard about real IDs, I have not heard outside of Dragon's unique experience with Mike getting probably a sympathetic or just kind of like, I'm just ready to cruise through here kind of person. Most experiences with the real ID have been frustration and just anger because the goalposts keep moving, which isn't necessarily a fault of the DMV or the operator. You can only imagine as like a end user or an operator of like that on the other side of the counter. They're probably pissed and frustrated too, because
what it did is it gave me the impression that depending on who you might get that day, you could have a totally different experience.
100%.
And that's irritating.
That is, yes.
Because
and especially the system
when
is busted.
I see how easily other people got theirs, and just because I had a name change I had nothing to do with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, well, this is my fucking birth certificate.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry.
So then what does that
what
do
else
too?
You want me to do?
Like, if you look to the other side of that, I mean, what does that do too for your awareness and confidence in how the program works? If it's security theater and you know that the verification for you
slipping in
is like 10 out of 10 as far as hardness, but someone else got in with like a sympathetic person on the other side of the counter, and some of the ID checks weren't even launched at all.
Chandler got his the day before without any problem whatsoever. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. I tried to do that already once. So I'm going to go do it tomorrow, seeing
No
how I
big
see
deal.
that Rockland's not very busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I go and look. Oh, look, their wait time's not very good. And of course, I get there. There's a bunch of people there, and so then it's like, now I wait through all that and go through the whole bullshit. And they're like, oh, fuck you, and I'm like, God damn you.
So close.
Anyway, I'll figure it out.
We're at time.
Okay. All right. Well, guess what? I'm going to say real quick. Get your flu shot.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Good for you.
First time I've ever had one, ever.
And you're not sick? I'm just kidding. That doesn't happen anyway.
It just happened today.
Oh, real?
Yeah.
Are you sore yet?
Not really.
Piper was really sore.
Shannon and Millie were both sore.
Really?
Yeah. So get your flu shot.
Wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Return the card.
And
And it was registered to vote, but we did that.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore. Well, we could, but it's...
If you're in Georgia, make sure you're registering to vote.
Yep. All right. Well, let's call it.
We'll call it there.
All right. Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Next week.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.